Ambassador Kethra stared at the floating display screen in front of her. The blue light from the hologram made her wet skin shimmer as she moved her webbed fingers across the control panel. The numbers on the screen told a terrible story. 3 worlds, 3 entire planets full of life. All gone in just 2 months. The void swarm had come from the dark space between stars. Nobody knew where they came from or what they wanted. They just consumed everything. First, they ate the plants and animals. Then they drained the oceans and atmosphere. Finally, they left behind dead rocks floating in space. Kethra was one of the Aquani people. Her species looked like tall, blue-green humans with gills on their necks and webbed hands and feet. They lived on water worlds and were known for being peaceful and wise. But wisdom meant nothing against the swarm. She pressed a button and new information appeared on the screen. The defense reports from the outer colonies made her stomach feel sick. The swarm ships looked like giant insects made of metal and flesh. They could change their shape and heal damage. Worse, they learned from every attack. Energy weapons that worked once became useless the second time. The door to her office opened with a soft hiss. Commander Veltar walked in, his forearms moving nervously. He was from the Zalthari, the insect-like people who led the confederation of 12 peaceful species. His compound eyes reflected the blue light from Kethra's screen. Any luck finding? Help? Veltar asked. His voice buzzed like angry bees. Kethra shook her head. The Corvani said they are too far away. The Nexus Republic refuses to get involved. Even the warrior clans of Dark Prime turned us down. They say the swarm cannot be stopped. Veltar's antenna drooped. How long do we have? Our scientists. Think 6 months, maybe less. Kethra touched the screen and showed him a map of their space. Red dots marked where the swarm had been. Yellow dots showed where they were now. They are moving toward our core worlds, toward our home planets. The 2 aliens stood in silence for a moment. Outside the window, spaceships moved between the orbital platforms around the planet Harmony Prime. This was the capital world of their confederation. Soon it might be another dead rock. There must be someone, Veltar said. Some species we have not contacted yet. Kethra had been thinking the same thing. She moved to another computer and began searching through the galactic database. Most of the known species were already part of larger alliances or too weak to help. She looked at star maps, checking system after system. Then she found something strange. Wait, she said, look at this. A new display appeared showing a small yellow star. The third planet from the star was marked with a red warning symbol. Sol 3. Kethra read, also called Earth, Class 12 Death World. Veltar stepped back. A death world? Nothing good lives on death worlds. Kethra read more information. It says here that a species called humans live there. They have space travel, but they are very new to it. The database says they only started exploring their own star system recently. What makes it a death world? Veltar asked, though he sounded like he did not want to know. Kethra's eyes got wider as she read. The gravity is enormous. Almost twice what most species can survive. The atmosphere is 21% oxygen. That is toxic to most life forms. The planet has extreme weather, including storms that can destroy buildings and temperature changes that would kill most creatures. And humans live there, not just live. It says they cover the entire planet. They have billions of individuals. Kethra kept reading. The star gives off dangerous radiation. The planet has active volcanoes, earthquakes, and deadly creatures. The oceans are full of monsters. Even the plants can be poisonous. Veltar shook his head. This is crazy. How could any intelligent species evolve in such a place? Kethra was thinking the same thing. Most civilized species came from peaceful worlds with stable weather and safe environments. Her own people evolved on calm water worlds. Veltar's species developed on a planet with perfect temperature and gentle breezes, but as she read more about Earth, an idea began forming in her mind. Veltar, she said slowly, what if that is exactly what we need? What do you mean? Think about it. Every species that has fought the swarm is lost. We are all from safe, peaceful worlds. We evolved to be comfortable and civilized. But the swarm is not civilized. They are violent and dangerous. Veltar's antenna twitched as he began to understand. You think humans might be different because their world is dangerous? Look at this data, Kethra said, pointing to the screen. Humans have wars. They fight each other regularly. They have weapons designed to kill their own species. They live on a planet that is constantly trying to kill them, and they not only survive, but thrive. The more she read, the more excited she became. Humans had something called military forces. They had weapons that used explosions and metal projectiles instead of energy beams. They built machines designed for destruction. They even had something called extreme sports where they risked their lives for fun. This is either the best idea we have ever had or the worst, Veltar said. Kethra was already composing a message. We are out of options. The swarm will be here in 6 months. Every civilized species has refused to help us or tried and failed. Maybe what we need is not civilization. Maybe we need something wild. She began typing the distress signal. The message would travel through hyperspace, too. The Sol System. It would offer the humans advanced technology and membership in the galactic community in exchange for military assistance. Are you sure about this? Veltar asked. What if humans are as dangerous to us as they are to the swarm? Kethra paused for a moment. Then she looked at the map showing the swarm's advance toward their worlds. In 6 months, our entire civilization will be dead. If humans are dangerous, at least we will still be alive to worry about it. She sent the message and leaned back in her chair. Somewhere in the galaxy, on a violent death world orbiting a young star, creatures evolved in hell might receive their call for help. She just hoped they would answer before it was too late. The die was cast. They had asked for reinforcements. Soon, they would learn what Earth's Deathworlders could do. Image. Description for Leonardo AI. A blue-green amphibious alien with webbed hands and gills on her neck sits at a holographic computer display in a futuristic space station office. She has large eyes and smooth, wet-looking skin. Through a large window behind her, spaceships and orbital platforms are visible against the backdrop of a planet and stars. The room is lit with blue holographic light from the floating computer. Screens. The alien looks concerned and desperate as she stares at data about a distant, yellow star system labeled Sol 3 on her display. Admiral Jake Morrison was drinking his morning coffee when the alarm started screaming. He set down his mug and rushed to the command center of Terra Defense Command. The massive underground facility had been built only 5 years ago, when humanity first detected alien signals from deep space. What do we have? Jake asked as he entered the main control room. Lieutenant Danny Kim looked up from his computer station. His face was pale with excitement. Sir, we just received a transmission from outside our solar system. It is definitely alien. Jake felt his heart speed up. Are you sure? Positive, sir. The signal came from 43 light-years away. It is using mathematical patterns we have never seen before, but our computers managed to decode most of it. Dr. Lisa Chun hurried into the room carrying a tablet full of data. She was the head of the newly created xenobiology department. Her job was to study potential alien life, but until now it had been mostly guesswork. Admiral, she said, breathing hard from running. You need to see this. The message is a distress call. Jake took the tablet and read the translation. His eyes grew wider with each line. 12 alien species. A threat called the Void Swarm, entire planets consumed and left dead. A request for military help in exchange for advanced technology and membership in something called the Galactic Confederation. Is this real? Jake asked. Lisa nodded. Did the mathematics check out? The signal definitely came from space? And look at this part. She pointed to a section of the message. They describe Earth as a Class 12 death world. They seem to think our planet is barely habitable. Jake read the description of Earth from the alien perspective. They called the gravity crushing. They said the oxygen levels were toxic. They described Earth's weather as extremely violent and called the radiation from the sun dangerous. They think our planet is trying to kill us, Jake said with amazement. That is not all, Lisa continued. Look at what they say about most. Habitable planets, lower gravity, thinner atmosphere, stable weather, gentle star radiation. Admiral, these aliens evolved in what we would consider very comfortable, safe environments. Captain Ryan Blake entered the command center. He was tall and broad-shouldered, with short brown hair and calm blue eyes. Ryan commanded the UES Defiance, humanity's most advanced starship. It had been built using experimental technology reverse-engineered from crashed alien probes found over the past decade. I heard we got a message from space, Ryan said. What is the situation? Jake handed him the tablet. Ryan read quietly for several minutes. When he finished, he looked up with a serious expression. They want our help fighting some kind of space monsters, Ryan said. And they think we are tough because we live on a dangerous world. That is right, Lisa said. Based on their data, most alien species would not be able to survive on Earth for very long. What seems normal to us would be deadly to them. Jake called a meeting with the senior staff. Within an hour, the command center was full of military officers, scientists, and government representatives. They discussed the alien message for 3 hours. Colonel Amy Walsh, the head of the Marine Space Corps, was the first to volunteer. She was a veteran soldier with red hair and green eyes who had trained for zero-gravity combat. We have been preparing for alien contact for years, she said. This could be our chance to prove that humanity belongs among the stars. Engineer Ben Torres raised his hand. He was responsible for maintaining the advanced systems on human starships. I have been studying the technology data they sent with the message. Their engineering is amazing, but it seems designed for species that are not very strong. Everything is lightweight and delicate. Dr. Lisa Chun had been running calculations on her computer. I have been comparing their world descriptions with Earth, she said. Most alien worlds have gravity between 0.6 and 0.8 times Earth normal. Their atmospheric pressure is much lower. Their temperature ranges are much smaller. Even their day and night cycles are longer and more stable. What does that mean for us? Jake asked. It means humans are probably much stronger and tougher than they expect, Lisa replied. We evolved under higher gravity, which made our bones and muscles stronger. We can handle temperature changes that would shock most aliens. Our reflexes developed to deal with dangerous predators and natural disasters. Ryan stood up. Admiral, I request permission to take the Defiance and respond to their distress call. Are you sure? Jake asked. This could be extremely dangerous. We would be going into unknown space to fight an enemy that has defeated multiple alien civilizations. That is exactly why we should go, Ryan said. These aliens tried to get help from other civilized species and failed. Maybe they need someone who is not civilized. Maybe they need someone from a world that fights back. Jake looked around the room. Every face showed the same expression of determination and excitement. Humanity had dreamed of meeting aliens for centuries. Now they had the chance to not just meet them, but to help them. Very well, Jake said. Captain Blake, you have permission to prepare the Defiance for an extended mission. Dr. Chun, I want you to prepare briefing materials on what we know about alien biology. Colonel Walsh, select your best Marines for this mission. Over the next 2 weeks, the crew prepared for their journey. They studied the alien technology data and practiced with new weapon systems. The aliens had sent information about energy shields, faster than light travel and advanced computers. Captain Ryan Blake chose his crew carefully. Colonel Amy Walsh brought 50 Marines trained for space combat. Engineer Ben Torres led a team of technicians who could adapt human and alien technology. Tactical Officer Matt Rodriguez planned battle strategies based on the limited data about the Void Swarm. Dr. Lisa Shun prepared medical supplies and environmental suits. She also created a guide for first contact with alien species. Most importantly, She made sure everyone understood that humans might seem frightening to aliens who evolved on safer worlds, the UES. Defiance was loaded with supplies for a 6-month mission. The ship carried experimental weapons, advanced sensors, and enough food and water for 200 crew members. They also loaded medical equipment designed to treat injuries that would be fatal on most worlds. On the day of departure, Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Defiance. Through the view screen, he could see Earth floating in space below them. The blue and white planet looked beautiful and peaceful from orbit, but he now understood it was considered a nightmare world by most alien species. "Are you ready, Captain?" Jake asked. Ryan nodded. "We are as ready as we can be, sir." "Remember," Jake said, "you are not just representing humanity. You are showing the galaxy what humans can do. Make us proud." The Defiance activated its new faster-than-light drive technology reverse-engineered from the alien message data. The ship disappeared into hyperspace, carrying Earth's children toward their first meeting with alien civilizations. Behind them, Earth continued its orbit around the sun, looking exactly the same as always. But everything had changed. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, and soon the galaxy would learn what Deathworlders could accomplish. Image description for Leonardo AI. A tall, broad-shouldered human male captain with short brown hair and blue eyes stands on the bridge of a futuristic starship. He wears a dark blue military uniform with insignia. Behind him, large view screens show Earth floating in space as a blue and white planet. The bridge has advanced control panels with glowing displays and other crew members at various stations. The lighting is dramatic with blue and white tones from the screens and Earth's reflection. The captain has a determined, confident expression as he looks toward the view screen. The used Defiance dropped out of hyperspace near Kepler Station. Captain Ryan Blake stood on the bridge looking at the massive alien structure floating in front of them. The station was built like a giant flower with 12 petals, each section designed for a different alien species. "It is beautiful," said Tactical Officer Matt Rodriguez. "Very different from our designs," Ryan nodded. "Human stations were built for strength and efficiency. This alien station looked like art floating in space. But he could see it was also very delicate. The walls looked thin, and there were no obvious weapons or armor. "Incoming transmission," announced Communications Officer Lisa Park. The main screen showed Ambassador Kethra. Her blue-green skin gleamed under the station's soft lighting. She spoke through a translation device that made her voice sound musical. "Welcome, humans from Earth," Kethra said. "I am Ambassador Kethra of the Aquani people. We are grateful you answered our call for help." "This is Captain Ryan Blake of the United Earthship Defiance," Ryan replied. "We came as soon as we received your message. We want to help." Please dock at Bay 7. Kethra said. "We have prepared a meeting room for first contact." As the Defiance moved toward the docking bay, the crew noticed something strange. The bay doors were much smaller than expected. The station seemed built for creatures smaller than humans. "Captain," said Engineer Ben Torres, "I am reading the atmospheric data from the station. The gravity is only 0.7 Earth normal. The air pressure is much lower than Earth sea level. Dr. Lisa Chun checked her medical equipment. Everyone will need to be careful. Moving in low gravity can be tricky, and some of the crew might feel lightheaded in the thin air." Captain Ryan Blake selected a small team for first contact. He brought Colonel Amy Walsh, Dr. Lisa Chun, Engineer Ben Torres, and Tactical Officer Matt Rodriguez. They wore their dress uniforms instead of combat gear to appear friendly. When the airlock opened, they got their first real look at alien technology. The corridors were wide but had low ceilings. The walls were decorated with flowing patterns that seemed to move in the light. Everything was built for creatures shorter than humans. Ambassador Kethra waited for them in the corridor with several other aliens. She was about 5.5 feet tall, which made her one of the bigger aliens present. Next to her stood Commander Veltar of the Zelthari. His insect-like body was only 5 feet tall, and his forearms looked very thin. "Welcome to Kepler Station," Kethra said as the humans approached. The aliens stopped talking and stared. The humans were much larger than they had expected. Captain Ryan Blake was 6 feet 2 inches tall and had broad shoulders. Colonel Amy Walsh was 5 feet 10 inches and moved with the confidence of a trained soldier. Even Dr. Lisa Chun, the smallest human in the group, was taller than most of the aliens. "You are bigger than we thought," Valtar said, his voice buzzing nervously. "This is normal size for humans," Ryan said, trying to sound friendly. "We come in different sizes, but most adults are between 5.5 to 6.5 feet tall." The aliens whispered to each other in their own languages. The humans could not understand the words, but they could hear the worry in their voices. They walked through the station toward the meeting room. The humans had to duck slightly to avoid hitting their heads on some of the ceiling decorations. Their boots made loud sounds on the floor, much louder than the soft footsteps of the aliens. "Tell us about your world," Dr. Saku asked. She was the station's head scientist, a small creature with large eyes and gray skin. "Our records say Earth is a Class 12 death world." Dr. Lisa Chun smiled. "Earth is quite nice once you get used to it. We have many different environments. Some places are hot, some are cold. We get storms sometimes, but they usually pass quickly." "What kind of storms?" Dr. Saku asked. "Oh, the usual," Lisa said casually. "Hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, thunderstorms. Sometimes we get earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. Nothing too serious." Several aliens stepped backward. On their worlds, any one of those events would be considered a major disaster. They entered the meeting room, which had chairs designed for smaller creatures. The humans sat down carefully, trying not to break anything. The chairs creaked under their weight. "Perhaps you could tell us about your military capabilities," Commander Veltar said. "We need to know what kind of assistance you can provide." Colonel Amy Walsh stood up to answer. "Our Marines are trained for combat in any environment. We can fight in space, on planets, or aboard ships. Each Marine can carry about 60 pounds of equipment and still move quickly." The aliens looked confused. 60 pounds was more than some of them weighed. "Perhaps you could demonstrate," Dr. Saku suggested. She pointed to a piece of exercise equipment in the corner. "This is our standard fitness test. It measures strength and endurance." Amy walked over to the machine. It was designed to test how much weight an alien could lift. The maximum setting was 50 pounds, which was considered very strong for most species. Amy lifted the weight easily with one hand. She held it out to the side and did several repetitions without any effort. Then she set it down and looked around the room. "Do you have anything heavier?" she asked. The alien stared in shock. The strongest members of their species could barely lift 50 pounds with both hands. This human female had just lifted it with one hand like it was nothing. "That is impossible," whispered one of the aliens. "Not really," Amy said. "On Earth, I can lift about 200 pounds. But the gravity here is lighter, so everything feels easier." Commander Veltar's antenna began twitching rapidly. 200 pounds? That is more than 4 times the weight of an adult Zalthari. Engineer Ben Torres noticed the aliens looking nervous. "Do not worry," he said, trying to be helpful. "Amy is strong, but she is not even our strongest person. Some humans can lift much more." This did not make the aliens feel better. Captain Ryan Blake decided to change the subject. "Perhaps we should discuss the Void Swarm threat. We want to understand what we are facing." Commander Veltar activated a holographic display showing a swarm ship. The biomechanical vessel looked like a giant insect made of metal and flesh. "These ships are nearly indestructible," Veltar explained. "They heal damage and adapt to our weapons. Our energy beams become useless after 1 or 2 hits." Ryan studied the display. "What about physical damage, explosives, kinetic weapons?" "Kinetic weapons?" Veltar looked confused. "You mean throwing things?" "Not exactly," Ryan said. He picked up a metal tool from the table to demonstrate. It was made of military-grade alloy, designed to be unbreakable. Ryan wrapped his fingers around the tool and slowly applied pressure. The metal began to bend. Then, with a sharp crack, it broke in half. Several aliens fainted. Others backed away from the table. Dr. Saku dropped her datapad. "How did you do that?" Kethra whispered. Ryan looked at the broken tool in his hands. He had only meant to show them what kinetic force could do. He had not realized how fragile. Everything seemed to the aliens. "I am sorry," he said quickly. "I did not mean to break it. On Earth, we use machines that hit much harder than this. We call them hammers, and they are common tools." Dr. Saku was taking rapid notes on her tablet. "Remarkable," she muttered. "Absolutely remarkable." The meeting continued, but the atmosphere had changed completely. The aliens kept staring at the humans and whispering to each other. They asked careful questions about Earth's weapons, human strength, and combat training. By the end of the meeting, it was clear that the aliens were both hopeful and terrified. They needed the humans' help against the Void Swarm, but they were beginning to understand that they might have invited something very dangerous to their peaceful corner of the galaxy. As the humans returned to their ship, Dr. Saku began writing an emergency report about the new species. Her preliminary conclusion was simple: humans were apex predators from a nightmare world, and nothing in the galaxy had prepared the Confederation for dealing with creatures like them. Image description. For Leonardo AI, a meeting room in an alien space station with curved walls and soft lighting. A tall human female with red hair and a military uniform easily lifts a heavy weight with one hand while several small aliens watch in shock and amazement. The aliens include a blue-green amphibious creature, a four-armed insect-like being, and a gray-skinned scientist with large eyes. Some aliens are backing away in fear while others have fainted. The human appears calm and relaxed while demonstrating strength that terrifies the smaller alien observers. The room has futuristic alien furniture that looks delicate compared to the robust humans. The alarm sirens screamed through Kepler Station as Captain Ryan Blake ran toward the docking bay. The Void Swarm had arrived 3 days early. Their massive bioships were already attacking the outer defense line at Rigel 7. "All hands to battle." "Stations," Ryan shouted into his communicator. "This is not a drill." The used Defiance launched from the station along with 50 alien warships. As they jumped to hyperspace, Ryan could see the worried faces of the alien crew members who had volunteered to work with the humans. They had never seen the swarm defeated before. When they arrived at Rigel 7, the sight was terrifying. The Void Swarm ships looked like enormous insects made of black metal and pulsing flesh. They moved through space like living creatures, bending and twisting as they flew. Some were as large as city blocks. "My God," whispered Tactical Officer Matt Rodriguez. "Those things are huge." The Confederation fleet was already engaged in battle. Energy beams lit up the darkness of space as alien ships fired at the swarm vessels. But Ryan could see the attacks were not working. The swarm ships absorbed the energy and healed their wounds within minutes. "Captain," called Communications Officer Lisa Park, "Commander Veltar is requesting orders." Ryan opened a channel to the alien fleet commander. On the screen, Veltar looked terrified. His forearms were shaking as explosions lit up the space around his ship. "Captain Blake," Veltar said, "our weapons are having no effect. The swarm adapts to every attack. We are losing ships quickly. Pull your forces back," Ryan ordered. "We will try a different approach." "What are you planning to do?" Veltar asked. "Something they have not seen before," Ryan replied. He turned to his crew. "Load all missile tubes with conventional explosives. Prepare boarding parties. We are going to do this the human way." Colonel Amy Walsh was already suiting up in the armory with her Marines. Unlike the aliens, humans had developed their military technology for fighting other humans. Their weapons were designed to destroy tough targets, not just disable them gently. "Listen up, Marines," Amy said to her team. "These bioships are like giant creatures. We are going to board them and plant explosives inside. The aliens think this is impossible, but they have never seen humans fight." Sergeant Mike Davis checked his assault rifle. "Ma'am, what about the toxic environment inside those ships?" "Our suits can handle it," Amy replied. "Remember, we evolved on a world with venomous snakes, poisonous spiders, and deadly bacteria. These alien toxins should not be worse than what we face at home." The Defiance charged straight at the largest swarm ship. The alien vessels fired energy beams at it, but the human ship kept coming. Its hull was built to survive Earth's harsh conditions and meteor impacts. The bioship's weapons barely scratched it. Ramming speed, Ryan ordered. The bridge crew held on as the Defiance smashed through the outer shell of the swarm vessel. The impact would have destroyed any alien ship, but the human vessel was built tough. It punched a hole deep into the bioship's core. "Boarding party, go!" Amy shouted. 20 Marines launched from the Defiance into the wounded swarm ship. They carried explosive charges, cutting tools, and weapons that fired metal bullets instead of energy beams. Inside the bioship, the environment was a nightmare. The walls pulsed like living tissue. Acid dripped from the ceiling. The air was full of toxic gases that would kill most alien species in minutes. "Air is breathable through our filters," reported Corporal Janet Lee. "Temperature is hot but manageable. Gravity feels normal." The Marines moved through the ship's corridors like they were walking through a jungle. They had trained for hostile environments their entire careers. This was just another dangerous place to humans. Strange creatures attacked them from the walls and ceiling. They looked like metal spiders with acid for blood. The Marines shot them with their rifles, and the kinetic impact blew the creatures apart. "These things do not like bullets," observed Sergeant Mike Davis as he reloaded his weapon. Engineer Ben Torres was studying the ship's structure through his scanner. "Captain, I am reading massive structural weaknesses. These bioships heal energy damage, but they cannot fix physical destruction fast enough." "What do you recommend?" Ryan asked from the bridge. "Plant explosives at the main support points," Ben replied. "When they blow, the ship will tear itself apart." Colonel Amy Walsh led her team deeper into the bioship. They fought their way past more alien creatures and planted explosive charges at key locations. The creatures' acid attacks damaged their armor but did not penetrate it. "Charges set," Amy reported. "We are heading back to extraction point." Meanwhile, the Defiance was engaging other swarm ships using human tactics. Instead of energy weapons, they fired missiles filled with explosives. The kinetic impact damaged the bioships faster than they could heal. "Target their weak points," Matt Rodriguez called out. "Hit them where the armor is thinnest." The alien fleet watched in amazement as the human ship moved through the swarm formation like a predator hunting prey. The bioships could not adapt to physical attacks the way they adapted to energy weapons. "Detonation in 10 seconds," Amy announced as her Marines reached safety. The explosives went off deep inside the swarm ship. The creature vessel convulsed and screamed through space radio frequencies. Its hull cracked and leaked atmosphere. Within minutes, the massive bioship was dead and drifting. "Impossible," whispered Commander Veltar over the radio. "No one has ever killed a swarm ship before." "One down, 12 to go," Ryan said calmly. The battle continued for 3 hours. The human Marines boarded 4 more bioships and destroyed them from the inside. The Defiance used its missiles and ramming attacks to cripple others. The alien fleet provided support by rescuing human crew members and attacking damaged swarm vessels. The turning point came when the swarm tried to use their biotoxins as a weapon. They released clouds of poisonous gas that would have killed any alien crew in seconds, but the humans kept fighting. Their environmental suits filtered out the toxins, and their immune systems, strengthened by evolution on a world full of dangerous organisms, resisted what got through. "Their chemical weapons are not working on us," Dr. Lisa Chun reported from the medical bay. "Minor skin irritation, nothing serious." By the end of the battle, the entire swarm force was destroyed. The surviving bioships retreated into hyperspace, something they had never done before in any previous battle. The human ship floated among the wreckage, barely damaged despite ramming through multiple enemy vessels. The Marine boarding parties had suffered only minor injuries from acid burns and cuts. Commander Veltar's ship approached the Defiance. Through the view screen, Ryan could see the alien commander staring at them with a mixture of gratitude and fear. "Captain Blake," Veltar said slowly, Your species has accomplished something no civilization has ever done. You have defeated the Void Swarm in direct combat. We did what we had to do, Ryan replied. We protect our allies. But as the fleet returned to Kepler Station, the alien crews were quiet. They had asked for help against a terrible enemy. Instead, they had discovered something that might be even more dangerous than the swarm. The humans had won the battle, but they had done it by being willing to ram enemy ships, board toxic vessels, and fight creatures with their bare hands, if necessary. They had survived attacks that would have killed any other species. As Dr. Saku updated her report on human capabilities, she wrote a new conclusion. The humans were not just Deathworlders. They were the apex predators of the galaxy, and the Confederation had just given them access to advanced technology and starships. The war against the swarm was over, but a new chapter in galactic history was about to begin. Image description for Leonardo AI, a dramatic space battle scene showing a human starship ramming through a massive, biomechanical alien vessel that looks like a giant black insect made of metal and flesh. The human ship is smaller but heavily armored, punching a hole through the organic-looking enemy ship, which is leaking atmosphere and glowing fluids. In the background, other bioships with pulsing organic surfaces are engaged in combat with sleek alien vessels firing energy beams. Small human figures in spacesuits can be seen floating between the ships as boarding parties. The scene is lit by explosions and energy weapon fire against the backdrop of stars and a distant planet. 3 months after the battle at Rigel 7, the Confederation Council gathered on Harmony Prime for the most important meeting in galactic history. Representatives from all 12 member species filled the Great Assembly Hall. At the center of the room sat a new addition to their council. Captain Ryan Blake of Earth. Ambassador Kethra stood at the speaker's platform, her blue-green skin gleaming under the soft lights. The hall was completely silent as she began to speak. Honored Council members, she said, we are here to discuss the integration of humanity into our confederation. 3 months ago, we sent a desperate call for help to a species we knew nothing about. Today, we must decide what place they will have in our future. Murmurs filled the hall. Some aliens whispered nervously while others nodded with approval. Everyone had heard the reports from Rigel 7. The humans had destroyed the Void Swarm in a single battle, something no other species had ever accomplished. Commander Veltar stood up from his seat. His forearms moved as he spoke, a sign that he was nervous. The humans saved us, he said. Without them, our worlds would be dead rocks floating in space. But we must ask ourselves, what have we invited into our peaceful society? Dr. Saku activated a holographic display showing data about human capabilities. Charts and graphs filled the air above the assembly. My research shows that humans are unlike any species we have encountered, she explained. They can lift weights. That would crush most of us. They survive in environments that would kill us in minutes. They fight with a ferocity we have never seen. The display showed video from the battle. Humans in spacesuits boarding toxic alien ships. Marines fighting acid-spitting creatures with weapons that fired metal bullets. The UES Defiance ramming through enemy vessels that were 10 times larger. They call their homeworld a death world. For good reason, Dr. Saku continued. But what makes them dangerous to enemies also makes them perfect protectors for peaceful species like us. An elder from the plant-like Verdani species spoke up. His voice was like wind through leaves. I have lived for 800 years, he said slowly. I have seen wars, disasters, and the rise and fall of civilizations. But I have never seen anything like what these humans accomplished. They did not just defeat the swarm, they made it. Look easy. Captain Ryan Blake had been listening quietly to the discussion. Now Kethra gestured for him to speak. Council members, Ryan said as he stood up. I understand your concerns about my species. We know we are different from you. We come from a harsh world that shaped us into something you find frightening. The hall fell silent. Everyone wanted to hear what the human had to say. But let me tell you why we fought so hard for you, Ryan continued. On Earth, we learned long ago that strength must be used to protect those who cannot protect themselves. We did not come here to conquer or to rule. We came because peaceful people asked for help against monsters. He activated his own display, showing images of Earth, beautiful oceans, green forests, snow-capped mountains, and cities full of humans living normal lives. Yes, our world is dangerous, Ryan said. But it also taught us to work together. Humans survive because we help each other. We build communities, we care for our families, and we defend our friends. That is what we want to do for you. Ambassador Kethra stepped forward. Captain Blake, what exactly is humanity proposing? We want to form the Terran Protectorate, Ryan explained. Earth will provide military protection for the Confederation. Our ships and crews will patrol your borders and defend your worlds. In return, you share your technology and knowledge with us, and we become part of your galactic community. And if we refuse? Asked a representative from the crystal-based Silicara species. Ryan smiled. Then we go home. We will not force ourselves on anyone. But remember, the Void Swarm was just one threat. The galaxy is a dangerous place. There will be other enemies, other disasters. When they come, you can call us again. The council debated. For hours. Some aliens worried that humans would become too powerful. Others argued that they needed human protection to survive. A few suggested limiting human technology or restricting their movements. Finally, the elderly Verdani elder stood up again. I have a proposal, he said. Let us put this to a simple vote. Do we accept humanity as our protectors, or do we send them away and face the next threat alone? The vote was taken electronically. Each species cast their decision in secret. The results appeared on the main display. 11 species voted to accept humanity. Only one voted against. Kethra announced the results. By an overwhelming majority, the Confederation Council welcomes humanity as our defenders and grants them full membership in our alliance. The hall erupted in cheers and applause. Even the aliens who had been nervous seemed relieved. They had made their choice, and now they could sleep safely knowing that Earth's Deathworlders would be watching over them. Over the following weeks, the integration process began. Human crews trained with alien technologies while alien scientists studied human engineering. Medical teams worked together to understand how different species could work safely side by side. Colonel Amy Walsh established training programs where human Marines taught alien security forces basic combat techniques. The aliens learned quickly, though none of them would ever be as physically capable as humans. Engineer Ben Torres worked with alien technicians to upgrade Confederation ships with human-style armor and kinetic weapons. The new hybrid designs were much tougher than traditional alien vessels. Dr. Lisa Chun started a cultural exchange program, helping humans and aliens understand each other better. She discovered that while aliens found humans physically intimidating, they admired human loyalty and protective instincts. 6 months later, Captain Ryan Blake stood on the bridge of the UES Guardian, flagship of the new Terran Protectorate fleet. Through the viewscreen, he could see a dozen human ships patrolling the outer borders of Confederation space. Captain, called Communications Officer Lisa Park, we are receiving a distress call from the Arcturus sector. Unknown ships are attacking a trade convoy. Set course for Arcturus, Ryan ordered, maximum speed. As the human fleet jumped to hyperspace, Ryan smiled. This was what humanity was meant to do, protect those who could not protect themselves. The galaxy was vast and full of dangers, but it was also full of peaceful species who just wanted to live their lives in safety on Earth. Children looked up at the stars and dreamed of joining the Protectorate fleet. They would grow up knowing that humanity had found its place among the stars not as conquerors, but as guardians. The aliens had asked for reinforcements against a terrible enemy. They had gotten Earth's Deathworlders, and they had discovered that sometimes the most dangerous predators make the best protectors. In the depths of space, new threats stirred in the darkness. But they would find the galaxy was no longer defenseless. Humanity was watching, and Earth's children were ready to fight for their new family among the stars. The age of the Terran Protectorate had begun. Image. Description for Leonardo AI. A grand, alien council chamber with curved walls and soft lighting, filled with diverse alien species sitting in a circular arrangement. At the center stands a tall human male in a dark blue military uniform addressing the assembly. The aliens include blue-green amphibious beings, four-armed insect-like creatures, plant-like entities, crystalline beings, and various other exotic species. Above them, holographic displays show images of Earth with its blue oceans and green continents. The scene has a formal, diplomatic atmosphere with the human captain speaking confidently while the alien representatives listen intently. The lighting creates a sense of unity and hope for the future.